And I believe we are live for Self Care Sunday on a Saturday. Welcome, everybody. It is me, Zach Valenti, here with a bunch of you already, which is super exciting. Hello, everybody. Bridge, Detective Mudia, Gail T, Sarah K, Shooting Star Neo. Welcome. It is a pleasure to have you all here. Please let me know if this is working, not working. I'm trying something new today. Um, and yes, we will see. I believe there is some sort of a lag in the stream. Self Care Saturday, that's right. Mostly ghosty. Yes, okay, here we go. Saturn Cadet. Hello, missed you too. Hot single horses in your area. What's your number? Matthew Everwood, welcome. It's so great to have you all here. I will have my eyes a little bit off the chat to try to avoid the effery from last month where the stream died because the phone did a phone thing. Trying something new. But it is a pleasure to be with you as well. Anybody who can't make it live, didn't make it live, is viewing this after the fact, you're just as welcome here. Hello there. Uh, please let us know either way in the chat where you're coming in from, what you are working on in your life right now, be that creative, be that professionally, be that personally, be that spiritually, whatever that means for you, and maybe what you're doing for yourself this weekend, whether it's aside from tuning in here for your self care. I had a slight agenda, not much, but I was thinking maybe I could take you into the repair shop. Oh God, is that backwards? That's backwards. Anyway, repair shop. I thought we could do some more reading this month, and I wanted to show you guys what came out of last month's stream. Maybe mess around with some music. I still have yet to set up my crazy looping pedal board situation, so it'll just be acoustic today. And then, as always, a little bit of mindfulness for y'all. Yeah. I also promise that Ruffles is coming back from the war, which he will win. But for now, he has been behaving himself because don't no stealing my streams. Yeah, mostly ghosty. Freaking awesome to have you here. First time catching it live. Seven Cats, hello. Milo Johnson, welcome from Washington State. Working on the second draft of your novel. That's 100%, 200% more drafts of a novel than I have. Oh, Sarah K, that means a lot to hear that you missed the mouth sound segment. It's coming back. It is coming the fuck back. But technical limitations are limiting. Cranker 90s. I'm doing well. Feels good to be with you and great to be home. The project that I was thinking about sharing with you all today is some repair. I've got me two old recorders. They were hard to come by on the internet for a budget. I found these for basically $40 each working, or $20 for both of them not working. The seller said that they powered on, and so I figured I could just replace the little rubber band inside of them that makes them go. If you don't know what these are old school audio recording and playback devices. This is a micro cassette. This is a full-sized audio cassette player, and I got inspired by my family's trove of archived audio, like this old tape from learning my bar mitzvah music, like my bar mitzvah ceremony thing, like the Torah portion. I have this like old tape from back in the day. So I actually tried to fix this earlier this week, but I lost the rubber bands that I had bought, and so I just used some random one that I found around the house that I think it works, but it's a little messed up. I'll show you how. This is what was in it that I think got a little loose, and that's a big glare. Move that like that. And then tell me I lost them already. Okay, so I've got more rubber bands. So these are for cassette player repair, and so there's some surgery involved in getting this thing opened up, and I'll show you what's messed up about it, which is if I put in a tape, it basically plays it in fast motion, because I think the rubber band that I put in it is just too tight. So it's putting pressure on the machine, turning faster. So if I play it, like it sounds like it's in fast motion. Like that's really what it sounds like, and this should be in the middle there. I hope that makes sense. Basically, if it were working normally, that would be in the middle, and all would be well. And why I think that this is the case is because if I take a new tape and record some stuff. This is a test. 1 2 1 2. Testing. 1 2. This is a test. 1 2 1 2. Testing. 1 2. So it sounds normal now because it's recording with like a new normal of that speed. Like all cassette tapes recorded in any machine should play at the same rate at the same place. So you understand the problem, I hope. And let's see if we can make that work. Eh? Oh wow, 1:40 a.m. in your area, school in the morning. You're still watching. Rebel. That sounds dangerous. Sleep is important. You have school on a Sunday. What kind of school you got on a Sunday in the morning? Don't get Magnus archived. That's funny. Great show by our good friends at Rusty Quill. I think the biggest horror podcast in Europe. Getting ready for your next semester of college. Which one might that be? Hot single courses in one's area. Matthew Everwood, that's cute. It is not Sunday. And it is cute that you thought it was, because this is normally on the first Sunday of the month. But summer travels have changed my plans. All right, so we need these bands. I think that this is probably fine. Yeah, that's right. We want the smallest size because this just got a little stretched out. So that ought to do it. And after this, I was thinking I'd show you guys the results of the reading aloud that I did last week. Did an audiobook test, and I have 2 other things I was thinking we could try reading, because I have some thoughts about that. And before moving forward on that, just wanted to explore some other avenues. All right, let's see here. From Bangladesh, we have 2 holidays in a week, Friday and Saturday. Time stopped existing in 2020. Oh, did it not? In so many ways. I'm curious how y'all's years are going, relatively speaking. Okay, I'm going to, let's see, push this back. This is going to be interesting. It's the first time I've done a video like this in some time. Okay, everybody, I'm going in. So while I open up the back here, maybe I'll put one of these beautiful unseen podcast pins on the table. These have been fun to make and send out to all the fans of Long Story Short Productions that have purchased theirs. A couple more to fulfill. So yeah, YouTube has been a great resource for me in sorting this out. So there's just a couple screws involved. Basically, the back plate comes off to expose the mechanisms inside. And then there's a couple screws in here that have to come out, like this one. I believe it is 4. I wonder, is this technically unintentional ASMR? Is that what this is? I don't know. And I wonder, can I zoom in here? Is it better like zoomed in or better zoomed out? Let me know in the chat. That is pretty crazy, 7 cats, that it is it is in fact August. Oh, come on. Let's see here. Aha. All right. So now that that's done, I believe we can remove batteries. Poem Lady, welcome. Great to have you here for the second self-care Sunday of yours. And let's see here. How do we go back to, oh, whoops. This is going to be crazy. Is that working? Welcome to trying new shit with me in real time. That ought to do it. I got to get a wider angle here. All right, so I believe I can now remove the plastic. Oh yeah, we've done it. We've done it now. Okay, so you can see in here there's like a little rubber band thing on this gear. So that is what's moving the machine inside that rolls the tape. For the new people joining, Liv A, Poem Lady, and if you have a poem for us, Poem Lady, I would love to read it when we do reading a little bit later. But yes, this is a secondhand, non-working, sold for parts tape player that I have bought to digitize my family's tape collection at some point this summer. Non-working in that it powered on, but it didn't play. And with a little bit of Googling, I figured that it was probably just this rubber band here that runs the motor, because the seller said it did power up, so the light would turn on. And most times for machines like this, that means they are salvageable. So let's see. I may need to, remove some more screws because this has to lift up and this is not currently lifting up. Interesting. I'm also going to, the first time I did this, I ripped off the microphone and had to solder it back. Surgery is a delicate operation. Also, if I begin to sweat buckets, that is only because the fan is no bueno for the audio on the iPhone, so I would rather be a puddle than not be heard. Okay, very good. Almost lost that one. Woo! Somebody has to explain to me what an avatar of the eye. Avatar of the eye. Is that a reference that I don't know? Okay. Oh no. Screwdriver is a magnet and things get stuck. Okay. Get in there. Ah, Magnus Archives reference. Right. I need to finish that show. um, trying not to lose the screw inside the tiny place. Come on. You can do it. Interesting. I actually no longer believe this screw has anything to do with why this is stuck, and in fact, I believe it has much more to do with this microphone component. Which I need to be careful with because I broke this last time. Okay. See here. Very delicate operation. Oh, I see. There are indeed more screws that have to come off, but they're on the front. Hoo-wee! You came just in time, Sayori. Sweating up a bucket, pulling out parts of this tiny old tape recorder. I guess not. This is not the tiny one. This is the normal sized one. Okay, there's the last screw that I think is holding us back. Oh, did that do it? Okay. Let's see if I can. Oh, pull up an actual chair. Come on. Ah, excellent. That's probably better. Whew. Okay, let's see here. All right. there anything else holding this together? I don't believe so. Oh, yes. Oh boy. Awesome. Holy shit. That's more than I bargained for. Because just this needs to come off. But how does this come off? I am so melting. Interesting. Oh, interesting. I definitely missed a step because this part should be in two pieces. And it is currently not. Ah, I see. I skipped unscrew. What happens when you rush and are very sweaty and streaming live? Milo, that is exactly why I do this sort of thing. Because I know too much to know that this isn't really saving me money. If I were to buy working components straight away, I would save a lot of time, which, you know, they tell you is money. But having something to work with my hands with is worth so much to me. Gets me out of my head. Makes me feel crafty as fuck. Okay. So we have separation as much as we need to get in here, take out the way too. So you see how small this band is? This is just what I like found when I realized I lost my rubber bands and all I had was the one that is not working. Put it up to my face for contrast. So this needs to be replaced. This was the original. This is the makeshift replacement that I put in that made it, I think, spin at a wrong rate, which would work for all new tapes until I tried to play those new tapes in other players, and then it would be funky. And I just want it to, you know, work consistently. So this is the actual size rubber band that I think I need versus the makeshift one that I used. So let's see how that works, eh? So the trick here is to not rip any of the cables. And you see this like little brass bit in there? So that is like a pulley system with this black wheel that has a track for the cable, or the rubber band rather. And so yeah, you just need that to turn and to too tight rubber band is going to cause pressure and potentially break the motor, but at the very least spin at a weirder rate. Okay, just want to make sure this is oriented right because it is a square band. Just want to fit it in there as correctly as I can, because I do not want to have to open this up again. Jewelry soldering. Jewelry soldering sounds freaking awesome. I'm curious how it differs from your run-of-the-mill soldering. Okay, we are now ready to put this beast back together again. All right, so first things first, I want to put on these screws. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't cut out too long. This thing needs battery soon. We got this, everybody. It is going to work. Alrighty. Oh no. Wait, no, where'd it go? That's a problem. Oh boy. Screw down. Oh no, I found it. Oh, we're so close. One thing about working with hardware is there aren't really shortcuts, or at least things that feel like, say, multitasking. Editing on a computer can really feel like something you can do while doing other things. Whereas for something like this, if your attention isn't on it, you're not really doing it. See you later, Sori. Great to have you here. Before you go, if you liked it, they tell me that that thumbs up button is worth something, so appreciate that. It means something to me, and you know, I think maybe the computer's whatever, who knows. Okay, let's see here. Okay. So that screw's there, which is good. This screw is there, which we need. Very good. And now this is the hard part, if memory serves. Getting all of these pieces back up in the enclosure is tricky part one. Kind of pushing everything in here. And then working this microphone down is the hardest part. Because it just needs a lot of love to get this back in place. Oh yeah. Whew. Excellent. Frick yeah. Oh, home stretch, everybody. So close now. I can smell it. Could smell better. Mostly ghosty. I would absolutely love to see pictures of your repair process for your Polaroid camera. And thrilled to be inspiration for a project such as that. That is a noble undertaking in my book. All right, all the tiny cables don't seem broken. Let's get that. I don't think that's actually necessary. The tape is like stuck to the board and won't go back, but I don't think it really matters. All right, so now there's a couple more screws that have to go back in the front, but I believe we can close the back. The trickiest part here is threading the stop button before we do anything else. And then yes, it is closed for the most part. Yeah, great. Okay. Okay, before I put in that, just want to get these screws back in. Then we can see what we have done. All right, so this is now going back in. Whoops, this Magnetic screwdrivers. You cause as many problems as you solve. All right, and then this guy goes in here, which screws, there's a piece of this like gray plastic, the silver plastic, that like has threads for that. So this screw actually locks in the microphone cap, which was the hardest part to get back on for that exact reason. And there we go. That's not going anywhere. And now that goes there. Tiny screw. Just like that. And I think that this is the last one. Okay. Come on. Whew. All righty. Let's see. All right. Welcome, Screw 99, Screwzer 99. We just fixed this tape player. I think. Let's go see if it works. I'm gonna take y'all into the living room where I can sit by a window and plug in the phone into a power bank because otherwise this is going to die. We don't want it to die. Excellent. Okay. Let's see here if this actually worked. So, previously what was happening is I had to put it to like lower on the speed. So it's like should be there to play normal. It had to be here to sound normal. I'm so curious to see if this was the problem. All right. So this is an old, from 2002, a tape from my bar mitzvah tutor. Huh. Doesn't sound too different. Let's see what happens when we play back the test recording. If you have to ask Sarah Kay, the answer is...
The tape doesn't necessarily record everything, but how about now? Success. Absolute success. This is a test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test me. 1, 2.
Interesting. It's entirely possible I just may have made it worse. Let's see here. hilarious. So ironically, I think the smaller rubber band that I was using uh, may work better than the
Check
one
1, 2.
that is actually sold for it, because that motor is sure struggling. Okay, this is a test. This is a test of the audio system. Does this work well? Ooh, I see it screwing up a lot there. Wow, hilarious. I guess I'm gonna have to open this back up. Yeah, you see how it's like struggle busing?
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Okay, this is a test. This is a test of the audio system. Does this work well? Ooh, I see it screwing up a lot there. Wow, hilarious. The beginning of the tape doesn't necessarily record everything, but
Interesting. Results may vary. Okay. So it looks like it's working. I'm just watching the motor to see it's moving consistently. I'm recording now, so it's testing. I wonder if it's like if I hold it at different angles, if the motor struggles, like if it's like this way or if it's like this way. It seems to be working. Mia Pearson, welcome. I'm so glad this is making it better. It is so crazy how crowded airports are these days with everything going on. All right, let's see if that worked. I know with like guitars and ukuleles, like you need the strings to settle.
it looks like it's working.
Maybe
I'm just watching the motor to see
it's possible
it's
that
moving consistently.
the rubber band just needs like to go back and forth
I
and
wonder if it's like if I hold
find
it
its
at
groove.
different angles, if the motor struggles, like if it's like this way, or if it's like this way.
This is working pretty well now.
It seems to be working. Mia Pearson, welcome.
So why I wanted this particular player is because you can.
I'm so glad this is
making it better. It is so crazy how
crowded airports are these days with everything going on. All right, let's see if that worked.
So that definitely worked. My initial misgivings are passing. So yeah, so now if I wanted to record some music, we can. That's right, Seven Cats. Communications Officer Zach Valenti at your service. So yeah, so if I wanted to play some music, let's see how that might work. For anybody who was here last month, you'll know that I've been watching none other than Steven Universe. Which is an animated series that you can stream on HBO Max. I think it is from the Cartoon Network. It is very, very cute. It is very, very moving, and also just like a great world building exercise, and unbelievable how much story can be. It's a fiction animated series that is like 10, 11 minutes, and it just blows me away how much information is held and conveyed in such a short period of time, how much story gets covered, how well the beats work, how well the characters are developed. There's a lot going for it. I realize I'm recording all this in addition to streaming all this. So yeah, so I've been practicing, and this is the theme song, which is We are the crystal gems. We always save the day. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in garnet, amethyst, and pearl, and Stephen. So I think that worked. Let's find out.
short period of time, how much story gets covered.
I'm definitely hearing like a like an alien spaceship sound in the background of the tape. So I'm probably gonna crack this open and mess with it after the stream at some point, maybe in a week or two. I need a break from you, tape player.
This work, how well the characters
I don't know if you hear that.
There's a lot going for it. I realize I'm recording all this in addition to streaming all this. So yes, I've been practicing, and this is the theme song, which is We are the crystal gems. We always
It was fun.
save the day. And if you think we can, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in garnet, amethyst, and pearl and steel.
Okay. So I'm still working on Giant Woman, but I can play the. So this is another song from that show. It is about exactly what it sounds like. Maybe I'll just decide I like the aesthetic of the aliens in the background of this and fix the mini cassette recorder for something better or something cleaner, which isn't necessarily better. So yeah, I've been practicing the strumming. I'm still not at a place with this where I can sing it and do it. But I think I've gotten better. Almost. Almost. The switch, so I'm still getting it up to speed, as you'll notice from like going from that first. Something sounds maybe out of tune. So, progress. It sounds crazy. It sounds like super wavery. I kind of love that. Just like that distortion. So this is again why I got this player.
Aesthetic of the aliens in the back.
Background of this and fix the mini cassette recorder for something better. Or something cleaner. Which isn't necessarily better. So yeah, I've been practicing the strumming. I'm still not at a place with this where I can sing it and do it. But I think I've gotten better.
So this is normal speed. It's got this weird shimmery. Cool. Well, so yeah, that was what I wanted to play around with you guys today with before I do a little bit of reading. Normally I only stream for an hour, but why not? Let's go a little longer. Um, so I now have this tape machine. At some point in the future, I will have tinier tape machine. Um, I did get a haircut. Not a crazy big one, or sort of a crazy big one, but not like a serious haircut. Just like a make it less crazy. It was like a little bit like mad sciencey. Oh, poem lady, that's so sweet. Um, so yeah, now I'm gonna take you over to the base station before we hop into the booth. And so, for some context, I got into voice acting because I fell in love at a young age with audiobooks. I grew up with Jim Dale, the man who read, in my mind, the only Harry Potter audiobook. Jim Dale being an incredible voice talent. Um, Shooting Star Neo, I did look for even smaller tape recorders than the one I found, and they make them. They're price prohibitive. Thank you for the compliment. So the problem with the audiobook industry is in order to get an audiobook, you must have an audiobook credit typically. And I remember talking to an executive. I'm like, I do a podcast, and they're like, that's cute. Call me when you've done an audiobook. I'm like, but you're the person who hires for audiobooks. They're like, yep, that's right. Goodbye. They were nicer than that. But yeah, basically, it's a catch-22. So I've gotten in my head that I have the time, I have the space, I have the tools, I have the means to record an audiobook. I've sort of been doing that sort of like piecemeal. It's never going to be released as like one downloadable thing for copyright reasons. Focused AF, the daily podcast that I put out with meditations, that is focused.af. You can check out on the internet. And yeah, there's a daily meditation. It's from a book called The Book of Life. Each book is a page of the book. Each day is a page from the book. And 365 days equals a year equals the whole book. So I'm kind of getting some experience in audiobook reading, but I want to actually record like a full audiobook. And so I've been looking at public domain work that there's no copyright on, so I can just record it at my leisure, at my pleasure, and release it for free or pay what you want or whatever, put it on an Audible or something. And it's just something that I won't get sued for and I can like legally put up. In the chat, before we go over there and mess around with audiobook stuff, is anybody feeling like they need to go soon and would prefer to do the meditation first? Because I could also maybe just like chill on this couch for a minute and do a quick guided meditation thing. And while you're letting me know that in the chat, if you like the stream, hit that thumbs up button. I don't know what it does other than tell me that you like it, but I don't know. YouTube tells me that maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they'll be nicer to me. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, Detective Mudia. That means a lot that you're tuned into that because it is been a joy to read. And I have like a small team now working on it to like edit. So I record and I have somebody editing and then somebody uploading, and it's good stuff. Taki, bless your heart. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for that little buffer time as to whether or not meditation now, meditation later. Okay, cool. I figure not everybody's gonna stick around for the reading bits, so maybe we do that mindfulness right now. Okay. So, put the ukulele over there. So today we're going to try something a little bit different. This is going to be progressive relaxation. Very cool. And so it's going to start out like this. Forget if we've done this before, so we're going to do it again if we've done it before. So we are going to work from the top down and do what's called progressive relaxation, where you're basically clenching, like kind of tightening your muscles, and then letting go. And yeah, it feels really good. It seems counterintuitive that getting tighter would make you feel looser, but it's sort of like a hack for your body. So we're going to start with like the forehead and the ears and the neck and the jaw, just getting tight, 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 tight. Scrunching up the face, tight, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1, and let go. Whoo! And now we're going to do the chest and the arms and the fists. You can do your stomach and just tight, 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 tight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Oh, feels like your arms are floating. So yeah, I find that this is a really reliable way to relax your body, which can then sort of calm down the mind. Okay, and now the legs, so starting with your butt and your thighs and hamstrings and calves and feet, curling your toes, squeeze, 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 squeeze. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It could be my imagination, but I feel like that just opened up my lower back, which gets really tight. Okay. And now the whole body. Squeezing everything tight. I'm going to hold it for like 10, 15, 20 seconds. And see how we feel. Ready. Steady. And let go. If you haven't. Oh. Whew. I don't know about you, but that felt like a great nap. Just like energy and calmness at the same time. Whew. Gonna sit for a minute, and then maybe we'll do that one more time. And then do a little bit of mindfulness breathing. Okay. One more time. Everything tight. Maybe 30 seconds. If anything hurts, stop. It's not supposed to hurt. And let go. Whew. Never fails. Never fails to make me feel weirdly better. How do y'all feel? What was that like for you? Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this later. Fuck. Whew. Okay. Just gonna sit quietly for about a minute, following my breath. I invite you to welcome, Carly. It's sort of a funny thing to walk into without any context. So I'm just gonna sit quietly for a minute or so and just track my breathing. And I invite you to join me in doing the same. If your mind wanders, you can just bring it back to the feeling of the air coming in and going out, whether it's your belly and chest moving, whether it's the temperature around your nostrils and mouth. Just minding the breath. closed your eyes, you can flutter them back open, letting the light of the room back in. You can wiggle your fingers and toes, wobble your head around. Feel free to take a stretch if it feels right. Thank you for joining me for this mindful moment. I'm so glad to hear that maybe this exercise is beneficial for those tension headaches, Sarah Kay. That's so wonderful if that serves you. And poem lady, that is exactly what I love about this exercise, is that awareness that you get from causing a little bit more tension, or a lot, really draws out the ambient tension that's there, and I think forces it to let go a little bit, or at least it can. Yes, Tylenol is a painkiller. Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. Which one? There's ibuprofen and acetaminophen. Tylenol is acetaminophen, and ibuprofen is like Motrin or Advil, or like Aleve. Woohoo! Mindfulness complete. You're welcome, Milo. Thanks for joining me. This is a wonderful reminder for me to practice as well. I will definitely bring back the ukulele in future live streams. That is a promise. Okay. Oh my God. Was that recording the whole time? No, it wasn't. Okay. So, I want to read to you. But first, I want to show you what we accomplished previously. I will need that battery. Man, I got my hands full. Okay. So, that's going to go there. That's going to go there. And this is going here. But also, I will press this button, and then we will be. Hello. Back here. Okay. Welcome back to the main view. I know for those of you who've only been here the last couple of months, you may only know this on its iPhone, but this is more traditional of Self-Care Sunday, at least in last year. That's the tripod. I wanted to show you what we did last month, which was recording this book. Memorial of Samuel Eels. It is a biography of the guy who created a society I'm a part of. He lived through and was almost killed by the, what is it called? Spanish flu. So I thought, like, historically interesting, personally interesting, no copyright. So we read a little bit of this last week. Well, it was like 2 weeks ago. Well, anyway, you get the point. So yes, I have the raw file. I'll take you to Reaper View. Haha! Welcome to where I edit audio. So all of this is like preamble. This red line is where I start actually reading. And it's rough. And you can hear it's rough like this. Cover to cover. Leopold Classic Library. Memorial of Samuel Eels. Samuel Eels.
Memorial of Samuel Eels. Written by Samuel Eels. So what I'm doing right now is recording it at some...
Okay, so I explain it.
Why a memorial volume is published when he whom it honors has been dead more than 30 years, and these few words of explanation are given in answer. At the time of his death, none of the family of Mr. Eels were fitted...
So yeah, you can hear those stumbles and...
None of the family of Mr. Eels were fitted to attempt the...
So all of this got edited down to this. I'll move this up here.
Leopold Classic Library. Memorial of Samuel Eels. Written by Samuel Eels. Preface. It will be asked why a memorial volume is published when he whom it honors has been dead more than 30 years, and these few words of explanation are given in answer. At the time of his death, none of the family of Mr. Eels were fitted to attempt the work now undertaken, nor did they really know to whom to entrust it, since they were personally acquainted with but few of his intimate friends, and he made choice of no one for such a service. After conference, however, with those of who were interested in the publication of some tribute to his memory, the material necessary was placed in the hands of a very capable gentleman, who was a warm personal friend.
Yes, you see how there's kind of an uncanny valley to this? Like,
Necessary was placed in the hands of a very capable gentleman, who was a warm personal friend.
like that's one sentence and there's a weird gap. And it could get edited, but basically I did this as a cold read.
Gentleman, who was a warm person.
And I think really what this deserves is to read it through, maybe chapter by chapter, and then after making notes in the margins, go back in and actually read it for recording in earnest. Because I think it'll just be a higher quality final product, which is sad for my impatience. That's the word. The part of me that wants this done sooner knows that it's going to take at least twice as long to rehearse it and then record it and then have it edited versus just reading it cold. But yeah, I guess I've sent this around to some people. I'm waiting to get a feedback, like, is it ready to go? And I don't think it is, but that I'm maybe hard on myself. I'm going to wait for that feedback to come in, but you can hear it. It doesn't exactly sound natural in its reading. So before I move forward on reading this book, which, yeah, we'll get back to this, but I want to get my head around how I'm doing this exactly right. I thought I could read something else this week just to try something new, and something that I'm a little more familiar with. This is The Mystique of Enlightenment, U.G. Krishnamurti. I actually think it's transcribed by people who wouldn't leave him alone. And he's an interesting figure. For anybody who listens to Focused AF, the podcast I put out every day about sort of meditation and life, that is Jiddu Krishnamurti. U.G. Krishnamurti grew up in Jiddu's shadow. Jiddu Krishnamurti was, poem lady. Have a lovely rest of your time with your friends. That sounds amazing. This will be here for you whenever you want it. And Madeline, I think I already live in that madness. That's impossible. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Penny T, that's sweet of you to say. So yeah, I am going to hop into the booth with this book. Maybe like see how cold reading feels. Take a look at the chat, and you guys tell me if it sounds uncanny valley. Like, do you know what I mean by that? Does that make sense? Anybody? Let me know in the chat.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the iPhone. You won't hear me for a second until I get into the booth because I got to press the button to go into Poem Zone. Sorry, Poem Zone. No, I'm just seeing Poem Lady. Into Reading Zone. Poems and reading, closely related. Okay, I'm pressing the booth button. Going back to iPhone now. Can I be heard now? I should be audible now. Oh boy, I'm going to have to turn off some audio feedback. No, don't die. Don't die on me now, iPhone. No, but I think you can still hear me while my iPhone charges back up. Jeez. Okay, so iPhone is in the position despite being dead, and I'm coming back out to the main place. BRB, yo. Hilarious. Okay, let's see here. Mia Pearson, goodbye. Have a safe flight. Enjoy it. Cranker 90s. See you next month. All right. Let's see here. That phone's going to take a minute. This may be an abortive reading situation. I think I may also benefit from going. I kind of want to read a little bit, though. Just because we can. I should stop recording, though. Screwser 99. Peace. Yeah, it was definitely an opportune time to give people a good moment to just get that out. Have a great weekend, everybody. That can't stay. For everybody who can stay, hang out. Goodbye, Stephen Katz. All right, let's see if the phone is back. That is dead as hell. Well, I believe I can keep reading even if you won't see me, which may not be ideal, but I could always do this. That's a problem. Peace, Milo. Bye, Sarah. Oh, unless Sarah's not the one leaving. No, 7 Cats. Sounds like you guys are sticking around. Yes, this is going to be an interesting race to see where the iPhone turns back on. That's right. Oh, Adam. Hello, Adam. Excellent. I'm going to just check on the phone one last time, and if it's not alive yet, I'm going to wire this up so that I can read in the dark and bring you guys back on video when it comes back to life so that reading can continue and the show must go on. All right. Yeah, this is going to be fine. I'm going to add to this situation. Oh, if you're just joining us, Adam, I'm going to read a book. And I'll tell you more about that book in a minute. But my phone that was the camera in the voiceover booth that you can't see from this angle died. And so that's a problem. We're dancing with it. We're dancing with the circumstances. All right. So now I believe that if I press this button, it will. Can you hear me, everybody? Can you hear me? Hear me now. Oh, great. The phone just came back to life. Cool. We are doing Self-Care Saturday bonus time. Because we can. That's not great. Okay, yeah, this phone came back, but okay, there we go. Now it's charging. Now we go to the camera app. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Okay, I don't know why it's not working, but we're just gonna go like it is. All right. I don't know why the camera being back is being silly, but I guess I will just be Doug Eiffel in your mind. Excellent. All right. Do. I am a waveform. This is Zach Valenti in the purest form. A waveform. So yes, because a bunch of people just left and some people have just joined, I will explain once more for context. I have always dreamed of being an audiobook reader. And in the spirit of reading audiobooks, I need a resume to get jobs. And so I thought I would go about reading things that have no, whatchamacallit, copyright. That's the one. And so I tried reading a book last month that I just played a little demo from. Sounds a little uncanny valley. Getting some feedback on it before I go back there and do that again. And maybe redo it or just move on with it being like a solid B+. Still making up my mind there. Figured I would read an excerpt. This guy came up in a conversation with one of my good friends. And so there's not an audiobook, or the audiobook that exists on YouTube is only 50% of the book and it's read by a robot. So I thought I would read this. And for some context, if you listen to Focused AF, that is the daily podcast, that is Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was a spiritual leader brought up by a group called, I believe, the Order of the Star, which was a subset of Theosophists. They basically found him as a 9-year-old. One of the leaders of this organization abducted him as a poor boy with ailing health on the beach in India, kind of paid off his dad to like take him and his brother and train them up in England and send them around the world lecturing about their religion and making him into their world teacher. Basically, they treated him like Harry Potter Jesus, Jiddu Krishnamurti. And eventually he turned on the organization and ended up weirdly fulfilling their prophecy by tanking the organization and going on to lecture about how we all need to be free of any authority, including the authority that made him an authority. And so that's JK. And now UGK is who I'm reading today. He was born in a family that believed in this religion, that like, so he had Jiddu Krishnamurti's picture on the wall. And so, so he grew up around this purported enlightened being and dedicated his life to proving whether enlightenment was real or not, and kind of had what he calls a calamity. And so this is an account of his experience and life and whatever. I don't know what else to say about this, so we'll just get into it. This is UG Krishnamurti, The Mystique of Enlightenment, and I will be in and out, but in and out of like I'm reading voice to like I'm talking to you guys. So feel free to keep the chat going, and we'll see how long we go for this. UG Krishnamurti, The Mystique of Enlightenment, The Radical Ideas of UG Krishnamurti. Off to a good start, I think. Okay. My teaching, if it is the word you want to use, my teaching, if that is the word you want to use, has no copyright. You are free to reproduce, distribute, interpret, misinterpret, distort, garble, do what you like, even claim authorship without my consent or the permission of anybody. UGK. Edited by Rodney Arms. Gotta love that guy, man. Do what you want. Even claim ownership. This is written by Zach Valenti. All right, so we're going to go to the forward. Forward. UG Krishnamurti was born in India in 1918 to Brahmin parents and was given a rigorous... See, that's the uncanny valley I'm trying to avoid, and this is what happens when I cold read. UG Krishnamurti was born in India in 1918 to Brahmin parents and was given a rigorous education in classical Hindu literature. He was raised to take on the mantle of guru in a manner similar to J. Krishnamurti, to whom UG is not related, as his family believed that he had approached enlightenment in a past life. He spent his youth studying with various spiritual teachers, practicing techniques such as yoga and meditation, and examining with a critical mind the practices and teachings he encountered. As a young man, UG attended the University of Madras and studied widely in psychology, science, and philosophy. All his life he had heard about the state of enlightenment, and he was determined to discover by any means possible what it really was. He became a popular lecturer for the Theosophical Society, an organization that introduced Eastern spiritual wisdom to the West, founded in 1875 by Madame Blavatsky. Blavatsky, I got this. Founded in 1875 by Madame Blavatsky. Yuji's grandfather had strong ties to the group, and its founder. Yuji's grandfather had strong ties to the group, and its founders and members had been frequent visitors to their homes during the and its founders and members had been frequent visitors to their home during Yuji's youth. At age 25, Yuji married and eventually fathered 4 children. In the late 1940s, he met J. Krishnamurti, who had been adopted at the age of 14 by the president of the Theosophical Society, Annie Besant. That could be Annie Besant. Annie Besant. She was convinced that it was J. Krishnamurti's destiny to become a world teacher. So she directed his education accordingly and formed an organization to support this mission. By the time the 2 Krishnamurtis were introduced, each had rejected the role of guru for which he had been groomed. For 7 years they met daily, struggling to uncover the nature of truth, and parted without resolving their differences in this matter. Yuji continued lecturing throughout the world. Then in 1961, he began to feel that he was no longer in control of his life. He left his family and went to London without any means or purpose. As he describes it, I was practically a bum, living on the charity of some people and not knowing anything. There was no will. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was practically insane. This seemingly... I'm just making sure there's not like a weird sound effect. Interesting. There might be a slight buzz in the line, but I can move on. This seemingly aimless period of his life lasted for 6 years, marked by an intense interest in this question. What is that state? He was still trying desperately to understand the state described by all the great spiritual teachers, by Shankara, Buddha, and Jesus. Eventually, he came to believe that he was in that state. Finally, at age 49 on a park bench in Sannen, Switzerland, Yuji experienced what he calls his calamity. The question, how do I know that I am in that state, had been occupying him for some time. As he sat and meditated on the question, he realized that there was no answer for it. The question disappeared completely. Yuji then began a physical transformation that lasted 7 days, which he says affected every cell in his body. He describes how his senses became extremely acute, and he lost the illusion of the continuity of thought and the sense of a center. Quote, "Then the thought cannot link up. Every time a thought arises, it explodes, so this continuity comes to an end, and thought falls into its natural rhythm." Yuji calls this the natural state of man. He does not equate it with enlightenment, which he describes as an illusion created by our culture. Second, I hear a car revving up. This is a soundproof booth, but it's not perfectly soundproof. That may be the neighbor's fan. There's like a bathroom fan downstairs that needs to be destroyed. Oh, no, it's a car. Thank God it's a car. There's nothing I can do about that fan. Cars do drive away, though. That's funny, Sarah. I'm curious about that, actually. Let's see here. Then the thought cannot link up. Okay. He does not equate it with enlightenment, which he does not equate it with enlightenment, which he describes as an illusion created by our culture. He states emphatically that one can do nothing to attain the natural state. In fact, any movement towards it separates one from it. In a world in which spiritual techniques, teachers, concepts, and organizations are legion, Yuji stands nearly alone in his rejection of it all. Quote, I am only interested in describing this state, in clearing away the occultation. I am only interested in describing this state, in clearing away the occultation and mystification in which those people in the holy business have shrouded the whole thing. Maybe I can convince you not to waste a lot of time and energy looking for a state that does not exist except in your imagination. The natural state is acausal. It just happens. Since his calamity, he has spent his time traveling throughout the world. Since his calamity, he has spent his time traveling throughout the world, staying with friends or in rented apartments for a few months at a time. He gives no public talks, but meets with people who come to see him. He gives no public talks, but meets with people who come to see him. His message is simple. He has no message. Nevertheless, his words can inspire you to face your own assumptions and motivations squarely, and to come to the question that is uniquely yours. Nevertheless, his words can inspire you to face your own assumptions and motivations squarely, and to come to the question that is uniquely yours. Publisher. Okay, I'm going to pause for a sec, go check on this here computer situation, make sure that everything's good. I just hear like a little sound. I want to make sure it's clean, this whole thing. Boop, 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 boop. I make sounds like that to be able to see things in the editing software. All right, let's go. Words can inspire you to face public talks, but meets with people who come to see him. World. In a I actually think it might be perfectly clean. Yeah, I think that sounds good. Okay. Back to the booth. I want to do another chapter. I want to actually read, like, not the preface and see how it comes out. Okay. We go away. Whew. Great. I'm going to stop streaming once I get too sweaty. All right. Oh no. I have a solution. I left the monitor on, so I just hear this weird echo in my headphones. So no headphones. Chapter 1. UG. Compiled from Conversations in India and Switzerland, 1973 to 1976. People call me an enlightened man. I detest that term. They can't find any other word to describe the way I am functioning. I think there's a car stereo outside thumping music. 1 second. At the same time, I point out that there is no such thing as enlightenment at all. I say that because all my life I've searched and wanted to be an enlightened man, and I discovered that there is no such thing as enlightenment at all. And so the question whether a particular person is enlightened or not doesn't arise. Detective Mudia, that's a great idea. I'll just eat Otter Pops. I'm not sure I know what an Otter Pop is, but ASMR crunch. I don't give a hoot for a 6th century BC Buddha, let alone all the other claimants we have in our midst. They are a bunch of exploiters, thriving on the gullibility of the people. There is no power outside of man. Man has created God out of fear. So the problem is fear and not God. I discovered for myself and by myself that there is no self to realize. That's the realization I am talking about. It comes as a shattering blow. It hits you like a thunderbolt. You have invested everything in one basket, self-realization, and in the end, suddenly you discover that there is no self to discover, no self to realize. And you say to yourself, what the hell have I been doing all my life? That blasts you. All kinds of things happened to me. The physical pain was unbearable. That is why I say you really don't want this. I wish I could give you a glimpse of it, a touch of it. Then you wouldn't want to touch this at all. What you are pursuing doesn't exist. It is a myth. You wouldn't want anything to do with this. UG. I don't like to use the words enlightenment, freedom, moksha, or liberation. All these words are loaded words. They have a connotation of their own. This cannot be brought about through any effort of yours. It just happens. And why it happens to one individual and not another, I don't know. Questioner. So it happened to you? It happened to me. When, sir? In my 49th year. But whatever you do in the direction of whatever you're after. But whatever you do in the direction of whatever you are after, the pursuit of truth, the pursuit or search for truth or reality, takes you away from your own very natural state in which you always are. It's not something you can acquire, attain, or accomplish as a result of your effort. That is why I use the word acausal. It has no cause, but somehow the search comes to an end. You think, sir, that that it is not the result of the search? I ask because I have heard that you studied philosophy, that you were associated with religious people. You see, the search takes you away from yourself. It is in the opposite direction. It has absolutely no relation. In spite of it it has happened, not because of it? In spite of it, yes, that's the word. All that you do makes it impossible for what already is there to express itself. All that you do makes it impossible for what is already there. All that you do makes it impossible for what already is there to express itself. That is why I call this your natural state. You're always in that state. What prevents what is there from expressing itself? What prevents what is there from expressing itself in its own way is the search. The search is always in the wrong direction. So all that you consider very profound, all that you consider sacred, is a contamination in that consciousness. You may not like the word contamination, but all that you consider sacred, holy, and profound is a contamination. So there's nothing that you can do. It's not in your hands. I don't like to use the word grace, because if you use the word grace, grace of whom? I don't like to use the word grace, because if you use the word grace, the grace of whom? You are not a specially chosen individual. You are not a specially chosen individual. You deserve this. I don't know why. If it were possible for me, I would be able to help somebody. This is something that I can't give, because you have it. Why should I give it to you? It is ridiculous to ask for a thing that you already have. But I don't feel it, and you do. No, it is not a question of feeling it. It is not a question of knowing it. You will never know. You have no way of knowing that at all. You have no way of knowing that at all for yourself. It begins to express itself. You see, I don't know how to put it. Never does the thought that I am different from anybody come into my consciousness. Has it been so from the beginning, ever since you became conscious of yourself? No, I can't say that. No, I can't say that. I was after something, like anybody else brought up in the religious atmosphere, searching for something, pursuing something. So, to answer that question is not easy, because I'll have to go into the whole background. Maybe it comes. I don't know. Just out of curiosity, like Nakita, I am very interested in knowing how these things have happened to you personally, to the extent you are aware of. You see, that's a long story. It's not so simple. We would like to hear it. No, you see, I will have to tell you about my whole life. It will take me a long time. My life story goes up to a point, and then it stops. There is no more biography after that. The two biographers who are interested in writing my biography have two different approaches. One says that what I did, the sadhana, the sadhana, spiritual exercises, education, the whole background, put me there. I say it was in spite of all that. The other biographer isn't much interested in my statement, in spite of, because there isn't much material for him to write a big volume. The other biographer isn't much interested in my statement, in spite of, because there isn't much material for him to write a big volume. They are more interested in that. They are more interested in that. The publishers are too interested in that kind of thing. That is very natural because you are operating in a field where the cause and effect relationship always operates. That is why you are interested in finding out the cause, how this kind of a thing happened. So we are back where we started, square number one. We are still concerned with how. My background is worthless. It can't be a model for anybody because your background is unique. Every event in your life is something unique in its own way. Your conditions, your environment, your background, the whole thing is different. Every event in your life is different. I don't seek to give a model to the rest of the world. I'm not asking from that angle. We see a star, we see the sun, we see the moon. It is like that. Not that I would like to imitate you. It may be irrelevant. Who knows? That is why I said I am Nikita here. I don't want to leave without knowing the truth from you. You need a that's a word. Dharma Raja. That's good feedback, Detective Mudia. Thank you for that. And Nico WW, that was my first thought when I heard this for the first time. Ugh, I remember that Lambert at Mukbang. Oh, that was a mess. That was really fun, though. If you don't mind. You need a Yama Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma You need a Yama Dharma Raja. This is why I have a pencil in the booth. Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma. You need a Yama Dharma Raja. Yama Dharma Daba. Yama Dharma Raja. 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 You need a Yama Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma Raja. You need a Yama Dharma Raja to answer your questions. You need a Yama Dharma Raja to answer your questions. If you don't mind, you be Yama Dharma Raja. I don't mind. I don't mind. Help me. You see, I'm helpless. I don't know where to begin, where to end. I know. I think I will have to tell the whole story of my life. We don't mind listening. It doesn't come. You need to be inspired. I am not inspired, and I am not the last I am not inspired, and I am the last person to inspire anybody. I will have to tell you, to satisfy your curiosity, the other side, the shoddy side of my life. He was born July 9th, 1918, in South India, to an upper-middle-class Brahmin family. The family name being Upaluri? The family name being Upaluri, he was given the family name being Upaluri, he was given the name Upaluri Gopala Krishnamurti. The family name being Upaluri, he was given the name Upaluri Gopala Krishnamurti. We'll do that one more time because there was a car. the family name being Upaluri, he was given the name Upaluri Gopala Krishnamurti. His mother died soon after his birth, and he was brought up by his maternal grandparents in the small town of Gudivada. Gudivada near Masulipatam. His mother died soon after birth, and he was brought up by his maternal grandparents in the small town of Gudivada. Near Masulipatam. And he was brought up by his maternal grandparents in the small town of Gudivada near His mother died soon after his birth, and he was brought up by his maternal grandparents in the small town of Gudivada near Masulipatam. Whew. While you do that, Sarah Kay, thank you for offering to look up pronunciation. I'm going to go get a little water, and let's see here. I'm just trying to see if we were to do chapter 1. Oh my God. What is chapter 1? Why is there so much chapter 1? How many chapters are there? Okay, yeah, this is more than I think I can finish today, because it's 31 more pages in chapter 1. In fact, I think this may be the right place to stop. I'm going to come out and take a breath of fresh air. But yeah, this is coming along. I think I'm having more fun reading this book just because the English is more accessible for a cold read. I've also kind of read this before. Lord. Nice little sheen going on. Oh boy. That was a lot of fun. I need this mouse to control the computer. Alrighty. Save. Cool. This is a lot of fun, everybody. I am gonna tune out, I think. But thank you for sticking around, and just so much love to the whole self-care Sunday on Saturday community. And we'll be back on Sundays in September. I believe the next time I'm streaming is September. It's normally the first of the month, but I have more travel coming up for the summer. So September 12th is when I will be back on Sunday, unless somebody makes it clear another better time for a different part of the world. Gudivada. Thank you. Gudivada. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, which I think is 7:30 GMT. And yeah, shout out to all the patrons, personal Patreon Thank you guys for helping make internet faster and better. Ever since getting out of Brooklyn, it's been a lot better. And No Bad Ideas patrons, we love you all. Everybody who got a pin for Unseen, they're coming soon. If you haven't gotten it yet, you should get it yet. Unless you're somebody who snuck into the batch from the EU or the UK, then it's going to take a while longer because we're figuring out compliance with the new VAT laws. VAT is a pain in my ASS, but we're doing it. Love you guys. See you next month. Take it easy and knock 'em alive.